Hello, all benders and non-benders, and welcome back to Avatar Generations. And today we're going to be going over Stage 5 of the Avatar State Aang boss fight. Now, with the Avatar State Aang boss fight, this one is dramatically easier than the Unagi for one simple reason. Options. You have so many options for this fight. This fight requires firebenders and earthbenders, and we have a lot of free-to-play options. So, we're going to get into the team that I put together, and I can say for sure this team is 100% free to play. Unlike the Unagi, where I did kind of have to blur the line a little bit with Kiwak. And technically Kiwak's in the shop, but you still have to get the spare 5-star, so a little bit of a technicality on that one. This one, no problem. For a few simple reasons. One, Iroh. Now you might be looking at that and say Iroh's a 5-star. Guess what? All new players get Iroh after 7 days. Iroh is free to play. Now I do have him at skill level 4 here. What that does is basically grants the calming state an extra duration. Really not that big of a deal in the long run, and Iroh is not a bad idea to just straight up skill up when you do get those free to play accessible coins. But just kind of keep in mind there, I do have him with some HP and defense here, with some very high resistance. Not that it's really going to matter, because Aang kind of did get a shadow buff, where his basic ignores resistance, which is a bit of a pain, but it is what it is. Knowledge Seeker here is fine to put on, because it works on defense characters. And then I have the Masks of Ursa on him. Reason this works so well for him is he gains defensive buffs very often, so he very easily increases his defense and heals himself every 2 turns. Statue of Kyoshi, of course, is another fantastic option. So that's what we have there. Next free-to-play character to go over is Fire Nation Zuko. Frankly, one of the best characters in the game, simply because he hits like an actual truck. If we take a look here, Your Mind does a ton of damage. Banished Prince does a ton of damage, especially if he has buffs on himself. And then For Honor grants him a death save, plus increases his turn bar if you do get him up to Mastery Level 4. Nice thing about him, I try to stay away from suggesting Mastery Level 4 stuff. Nice thing with this, though, is Zuko is so good. You can use him in Arena, get those 20 Arena wins, and be good. So I'm not too worried about recommending that. If we take a look at his arts here, you just want attack. Don't worry about anything else. Because again, resistance, not really going to matter anyway. Just go for maximum attack, whip out some damage. That's all you really need. Lifesteal's not bad either. If you don't have the deserter parts, because that is a bit of an older set, just substitute in some lifesteal, and I think you will be just fine. I do have the Owl Wolf on here, very easy 3-star support. If you do have the Komodo Rhino, that's a good one as well. And then I think the Fire Paper Dragon is fantastic, because it grants quite a bit of focus in the early game, letting him combo early and combo often. Now, we got our 2 firebenders. Let's talk about 2 earthbenders I'm going to put on the team here. First of all, we're going to talk about one of the newest free-to-play characters, Young Kyoshi. Young Kyoshi is excellent. Her basic here can prevent healing. I don't remember if Aang has any healing, but it can also remove buffs, which is pretty nice. And then Force of Earth here can inflict a fearful state on Aang and the Earth element, weakening his attack and increasing the damage he is taking. Additionally, she does have a very cool little effect here at Mastery Level 3, where this Force of Earth ability will permanently reduce its cooldown after the first time it is used, bringing it down to 2. If you put her in the right side of your team, it will reduce it even further down to 1, meaning you can use that fearful state very easily. Nice thing is, not only do you get a copy of her from the Kyoshi timeline, but you can also buy copies of her in the timeline shop. Not what I'd necessarily recommend spending your currency on, but if you are desperate for a powerful earthbending character, that works. Again, kind of same with Zuko. I went for attack and I went for lifesteal. You do want to think about accuracy on her so that those fearful states will stick. As far as options here, of course, anything Earthbender, anything Kyoshi, I'm going to go ahead and just for the sake of free-to-playness, basically, I'm going to stick on the Meadowvole here. I also don't want to keep track of what I've moved onto her. And then we're going to use the Whale Tooth Blade so that her advanced skill will do even more damage. 15% of the enemy's ignores 15% of the enemy's defense stat when you use an advanced skill. Again, you're going to be using her advanced skill, hopefully, very often. And then finally, for the last Earthbender, we're going to talk about kind of a tried and true character here, the Earth Kingdom Soldier. Now, cool thing about him, and I don't think I've actually applied an art set on him yet, which is a little embarrassing. Cool thing about him is he can grant himself barrier. His basic does earthbending damage, and then when he gains barrier, he gives HP regeneration to everybody. That's a big deal for this team because Avatar State Aang's abilities are all AoE, and he can attack more than once every now and then. So that makes it especially useful. Those are really the only two factors you need to know about him. As far as his abilities go, or excuse me, his arts, you want to give him definitely defense. Like I said, resistance is not going to serve you very well. So if you had a set that you used on Katara, kind of like I'm doing here, if you use that set on the Unagi, it would work well for Earth Kingdom Soldier against Aang as well. Because quite frankly, I don't think resistance is going to serve you very well anyway, but that is okay. Nice thing about accuracy is it can make your earthbending debuff stick. So kind of good stuff to keep in mind there. Again, you've got quite a few options here. Any 4-star options you have, and if you were lucky enough to get some 5-star options, very good. We are just going to stick on the rabbit right now just for ease. I really am not expecting this guy to be too much of a problem. Now, nice thing is, with this guy, he's a defensive character. You can use the masks, you can use Statue of Kyoshi. I'm personally going to put Statue of Kyoshi on him. There we go. Just for that extra healing and bulk, basically. So, we're going to get into the fight here. Now, something kind of interesting to keep in mind. Avatar State Aang, the boss fight, is a carbon copy of the actual playable character, just of course with exaggerated stats. So you can kind of predict how it's going to go pretty easily, unlike the Unagi where he can just throw stuff at you out of nowhere. In this particular case, you do have some options here. For like super budget, you can use the Owl Wolf if you want that crit rate on Kyoshi and Zuko. Or you can get the crit damage for Fire Nation characters from the Rhino. We did just get some free-to-play Komodo Rhinos from the event shop. I believe they're even still in there right now. So kind of something good to keep in mind there. So we're going to actually put on the Komodo Rhino. And we're going to rock and roll here. Now, he will do some powerful attacks in the very beginning. Nice thing is, with Iroh and the Earth Kingdom Soldier, you can heal. Healing is your friend here, especially from Iroh. So we're just going to get into this bad boy here. Kyoshi unfortunately died. That sucks. These things happen sometimes. But that is fine. It's really not going to matter in the long run. Now, you want Zuko to always be the one you combo with, because Zuko hits like an actual truck, and it's also helpful to get those fire elements out. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use a basic first to get that attack up, and then we're going to use the special. So we're going to hit with that basic, get even more earth element, get even more fire element. Keep in mind the fire element does make Aang take even more damage, which is always good. So even though Kyoshi went a little bit underused, you can see it's not even a problem. This guy doesn't have anywhere near the bulk of the Unagi. We tore him apart. Honestly, you probably could have even done that with just Iroh and Zuko, But hey, if you don't have to take chances, then no need. But yeah, that's the fight. Miles easier than the Unagi. We even completed that in under a minute, and that was with young Kiyoshi getting slammed and jammed in the very beginning. So yeah, that is that. Much, much easier. Really, you just want to make sure that your tanks are there to survive the hits. Nice thing about Zuko is he does have the death save, but you do want him in the back line, making sure that he doesn't get killed. So you could probably just drop Kiyoshi from that one, honestly. But hey, waste not, right? At least it was still a boss fight clear for her if you're shooting for her masteries. So yeah, that is all we have for today. Let me know if this guide helped you down in the comments below. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We are so close. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It would mean the actual world to me for us to get to that 1,000 mark. And until next time, y'all have a good one.